If you want to learn how to run really successful, really profitable advertising, there's one key thing that you need to get right before you even think about starting. So if you've thought about starting your own advertising business, or you've thought about running ads for your own business, or maybe you've even tried and failed to run profitable, successful advertising, Facebook ad, Google ads, then this video is going to be absolutely crucial for you to understand before you can expect to run profitable advertising campaigns. Now, in my 5 or so years experience working in direct response advertising, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars across platforms like Facebook ads and Google ads, there is one thing, and I'm going to cover that in this video, one thing that really makes the difference between whether or not you are going to become a successful advertiser and run profitable campaigns or not. And this is something that I've noticed across directly teaching over 700 people how to successfully and effectively run paid advertising campaigns. So what is that one thing? Now, that one thing that determines whether or not somebody is going to be able to run successful ad campaigns or not is purely and simply mindset. It's the way you're thinking about advertising. So throughout this video, I'm going to show you how to think like a 7-figure advertiser so that you can actually run successful campaigns. Now, if you don't watch this video and you don't understand this concept of how to think like a 7-figure advertiser, you're never going to be able to run profitable, successful ad campaigns. Make sure you stay tuned and watch this video in full, because this is going to be so important for you. Now, the best way that I can demonstrate how to think like a 7-figure advertiser is with a simple diagram that looks a little bit like this. What I'm drawing here is a little bit like a dartboard, a bullseye, right? Let's think of this bullseye like our advertising campaign, right? This represents our advertising campaign. Now, the bullseye in the middle, color that in, represents a direct hit. It represents an ad campaign that is going to perform really well. Now, what makes up an advertising campaign that is going to perform really well? Well, if you've watched any of my other videos before, you'll know there's a few different components, and we're not going to go too much into the weeds of like everything that's involved. But in a nutshell, getting, a dart. Each dart represents an advertising campaign that we try to run. Getting a dart in the middle bullseye requires getting the right message in front of the right person with the right offer at the right time in the right way, right? Now, if we can get those 5 things nailed down, and if we get them right, then our dart is going to go right in the center of the bullseye, and the advertising campaign is going to produce leads, it's going to produce sales, it's going to produce return on investment, and your business or your client's business is going to profit, right? And that's exactly what we want from paid advertising. So how we need to think about advertising is it's very difficult to know all of those 5 things exactly correct without testing, without trying certain things. Because there's no way really for you to know whether or not things like the offer that you're thinking about rolling out in an advertising campaign is actually going to hit the mark and is actually, right for that particular business and is actually going to be desirable to that market. Now, before we actually start throwing darts at the board and trying to run advertising campaigns, of course there are lots of things that we can do to improve our chance of getting our darts into the bullseye and getting our campaign spot on first time. Now, one of those very important things is market research. Now, if you don't really understand or know how to do market research into your market or your client's market, I will make a video on that. So please do check the description. There should be a link in there to that video at some point when I have made it. What market research enables us to do is it enables us to actually ask the market to give us the answers of what they are looking for, how they want it, what kind of offers are going to be appealing, how to write the ad copy. The market can give us all of those answers. And again, I'm not going to go into too much detail on that right now. And with the right market research, we're going to be able to get, you know, a lot of these things right, correct, and nailed down first time, or at least have a very good idea of what is highly likely to work. So if we've conducted market research into the market that we're going to be advertising to, and we've gathered the data, we've gathered the information that is going to tell us how we need to run this advertising campaign, we have a much higher chance of getting our dart into the bullseye first time. But we don't even, you could do all of the research in the world, that still leaves you with some questions around what angles to use in your advert, what offers potentially to try, what images to use in your advert. We don't really know what people are going to respond to, what the market is going to respond to, until we start throwing darts at the dartboard. So think about your market research is like refining your ability to actually throw the dart somewhere on the board. Right? So once you've done your market research, it's then time to start testing, right? We're going to start throwing darts at the dartboard. We're going to start throwing campaigns at the market, right? And what's going to happen is, let's say, you know, if you are familiar with me or know anything about me and the way I work, I teach something around Facebook ads particularly called advanced split testing. And what advanced split testing actually does is it essentially gives you a framework and a mechanism and a way of rapidly testing several different types of ads, right? And essentially what we're doing there with advanced split testing is we're throwing darts, I'm just going to put them as arrows, at the dartboard, right? And what we're going to see is that some of the darts that we throw, some of them might even land over here, right? These ones are completely off the board. Now, but what can we learn from this, right? What we can learn is what works, like this one here, who's hit the bullseye, and what doesn't work, like these ones here, who have missed the target completely. They're getting no engagement, nobody's bothered, nobody's interested, nobody's clicking, right? And what we want to do is we want to test, you know, lots of different ads just like this, based on data and based on research, to give us a good chance of some of them working at least. And what we want to do is we want to throw those darts at the dartboard. We want to see what hits and what misses. And only when you have done this can you see what the market is responding to, what it's not responding to. And then what you're going to do is, you know, after 2 or 3 days of running and testing these ad campaigns, or these darts, we're then going to turn these ones off, right? Because we've tried them, they didn't work, that's good, that's cool, because in order to find the ones that do work, we need to run ads that don't work, right? This is what testing is all about. Now, I hope this is making sense, and essentially what we're going to do is after a couple of days, we're going to turn off the ones that don't work, we're going to learn from that, those ones don't work. But we've now found, you know, 5 of the 7 in this example's case that have actually hit the dartboard. Right? And this one might be producing, you know, leads for, I don't know, $15. And this one who's a little bit further in might be producing leads for $10. And these ones sort of somewhere near the bullseye, they might be producing leads for $5. Right? So we're actually seeing that some of these campaigns are obviously performing better, therefore they're closer to the bullseye that we're aiming to get. Right? Now, you cannot find those ones, or it's very, very difficult, impossible really, to find those darts that are going to hit the bullseye without throwing a lot of darts and finding those ones that don't even hit the board, right? Those ones that don't even hit the board are completely normal and to be expected. And they're not even a bad thing. Like, they need to happen in order for these ones to hit the middle of the board. So if you've ever tried to run paid advertising and it hasn't worked, the chances are your darts have just been landing off the board. And you've maybe just not thrown enough darts. You've not thrown enough darts at the dartboard to actually find those ones that are going to hit the dartboard, that are going to hit the center. Now, that could be for any number of reasons. Typically, it's because people don't conduct market research in the right way. right? And again, if you want help with that, I will be making a video on that at some point moving forward. But most people, or a lot of very, very new beginner advertisers, go into this thing with a completely wrong mindset, and they think they're just going to stand in front of a dartboard, and they think they're just going to throw one dart first time and it's going to go right in the middle. It doesn't work like that. And when it doesn't, and it hits over here and it doesn't get any leads, they're like, oh, Facebook advertising doesn't work, and it doesn't work for me, it doesn't work for my business. When in fact, Facebook advertising, Google advertising, everything can work for every business in some way, shape or form. So the chances are, if you've tried to run an advertising campaign and your advertising campaign hasn't hit the mark, it hasn't generated leads, or it hasn't brought sales into the business, then it's highly likely, and you've turned them off and you've thought, well, it doesn't work for me. It's not even highly likely. The fact is, you've just thrown a dart that hasn't hit the dartboard. Now, there's two things that you can do there, right? You can quit and say, advertising's not for me, it doesn't work, right? Or you can say, tell you what, that one didn't work. I now know what doesn't work, or I now know one thing that doesn't work. What I need to do is throw more darts, right? And find more of those darts in the middle of the bullseye. And only when you start getting them in the middle of the bullseye do you start seeing what's working and what's not. And you're going to do more of what is working and less of what isn't. So we're going to get more and more of those darts are going to hit the dartboard, and they're going to start producing leads. And therefore, we're going to start producing sales. We're going to start producing return on investment from our advertising. Now, if you haven't, or you don't think of advertising in this way, I can guarantee you that you will never, ever get to this kind of figure, spending a lot of money on adverts and making a lot of money back. You're not going to get there unless you think like this. And this has been absolutely key and crucial for me to be able to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars profitably to make multiple seven figures back by thinking like this. And this is how you do it. This is how you think about advertising. And the key to getting those darts on the dartboard or somewhere close to the bullseye around on the dartboard first time is market research. Now, if you like free videos, free help, free tools, tactics, and strategies to help you make more money in your own business and make more money in your client's business, make sure you smash the subscribe button, you drop me a like, and you get involved in the comments and the discussions below these videos. And stay tuned for my videos coming out. Hope this has really helped. Smash out your paid advertising campaigns. If you need any help with your paid advertising, please do feel free to check the resources in the description button. Feel free to reach out to me, ask me any questions that you've got, drop your questions in the comments, and have a wicked day. Happy advertising, go forth and kill it.